Hey, welcome to Learn to Live Stream. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about tools in lighting for an absolutely great broadcast. This is an integral part of the process, right? We know our scripting, we know what to do, but when we get on a broadcast, we want it to look good. As you could see, some of the fancy things I have going on here, which are really cool, but lighting plays a super integral part of the process. And then there's some tools that you want to use that we're going to be talking about here in this section. So let's get started. So the very first thing we want to talk about are three tools that you need for great broadcast. Number one, I had mentioned it, which was lighting, right? So lighting is key because without great lighting, you're going to look dark, you're going to look shaded, you're not going to be able to see what you look like, who you look like, and it just shows poor quality. Now, it's very simple things we could do to create this. Then we have sound. Sound on live broadcasts is a pretty simple thing to work through, especially if we're amateurs. But if we're, if we're not amateurs and we got a little want to get a little bit more fancy, we could do that. But for the purposes of this course, we just want to make sure that we have good sound quality. It doesn't need to be fantastic. And lastly, one thing that is kind of a pet peeve of mine in a live broadcast, if you're not walking around, if you're not out and about, is the stability of a broadcast. I've seen people broadcast for 45 minutes holding their device, holding their phone, which is fine and dandy, but if you're going to take this broadcasting thing seriously, I suggest that you invest in, at the very least, a tripod. And that's the only thing you really need to purchase if you're going to live broadcast. So, let's get into lighting. The very first thing is natural light is your best source, and that would be sunlight. If you can broadcast outside, that would be absolutely phenomenal. The next thing would be, if you don't have that, you could use any lamp laying around the house. You should see my office when I first got started without some of the more technical things I have now. All I got was an old lamp that was in the garage, and I put it in front of me, angled it a way that I had good lighting. Another way is you could get a ring light. You could find these online anywhere. I always suggest Amazon. That's my favorite place to shop. No, I don't get paid to say that. I just think that you get phenomenal deals without having to overlook. You may not always get the best price, but you always get a very reasonable price when you're shopping there. And then the last thing, and at this point, and you guys can tell by my backgrounds, I do have a green screen and a full lighting kit. It cost me $140, but again, I'm creating courses, I live stream on a daily basis. It was worth the investment for me to do that because this is a major part of my business at this point. We'll talk more about lighting in a little bit. So, let's get into sound. Use the microphone that's on your phone. Use the microphone that is on your device. If it's an iPad or a tablet, use the microphone that is there. Again, you are not a professional broadcaster just yet. See a lot of great broadcasters who do this on the regular, invest in a more expensive microphone. But you could also use, if you want the sound quality to be a little bit tighter, you could use the headphones that come with your phone. You can buy a $20 microphone that's all it is to plug in if you want sound quality to be that much better. But I can honestly tell you right now, I am recording with the microphone from my computer. I do have that microphone in the bottom right hand corner that I have, but I just choose not to use it. One of the reasons is I tend to get up and down a lot, and I always forget that it's attached to me, and it tends to tug on my phone or tug on my computer whenever I get up to leave. It's just not something I'm comfortable with, and I've never, ever, ever heard anybody say to me, "Hey, your sound quality is horrible." So the sound quality from the microphone that you have in your device works just fine. Next, tripod for stability. You can have a tripod for stability, and the reason I say this is the very least thing you need to spend money on. Why? Because you don't always want to be holding your phone, especially if you're broadcasting multiple times a day, which I do suggest at some point in the course. To broadcast 2-3 times a day and hold it all the time, it gets a little bit more uncomfortable. It's hard to take notes. A lot of times you're taking notes when you're asking your audience questions, and it just makes it that much easier for you to also keep your phone plugged into a power source and on the tripod. So these are some of the things that you can be doing. And now here's the last one. You're ready to broadcast. And give me 1 second here as I pull up the screen and put me in there. Awesome. Here we go. Now we're ready to broadcast. And this is what I want you to understand, is that you have to have your lighting source in front of you, not behind you, to get that light on you. I'm going to give you an example because I do have multiple sources in front of me. As I reach over, I'm going to show you one of the lights I have. I got a light here, and you may have noticed the difference. This light I got at IKEA for $10. I put it right behind, and look at the difference in lighting. I put it right behind the computer that I'm recording from, and it's perfect. Now, if this same light or lighting was behind me, it would look dark in front of me. Now, many of you, as you're looking at this, there are a couple things I'm doing here that you don't recognize, but I'm going to give you an example as to what the next thing. Make sure your camera angle is at eye level. I'm looking right into the camera here, and it's at eye level, and I'm talking to you. Now, here's the difference. I've seen broadcasters who are looking down at you. I've seen broadcasters where they're looking up at you. And the challenge is, if you're looking down on the people that you're broadcasting to, you're literally sending a subconscious message that I'm better than you. Nobody wants to be talked over. So always look at them straight in the eye, into the broadcast, into the camera. You also don't want to be under them, because then they feel they're over you. Subconsciously, they're wondering why they're looking down on you. So you always want to be here looking forward. Now, the last thing you want to do when you're broadcasting, nobody wants to see anybody. I'm going to try to do this. Sitting back in a chair, disengaged away from the camera. Now, you probably feel like, why is he sitting way back? What's going on? You don't think it right away, but you're disengaged. Why? Because I'm disengaged. But when I sit up, I sit strong. And then for you guys watching this, and even for you ladies, I have this little thing called double chin here. But if I stick my neck out and lean forward, I'm engaged with you, I'm getting closer to you, and I lose that double chin. So lean forward, lighting in front of you, camera angle at eye level, and lean forward to engage. These three things, along with the right lighting, the tripod, and good sound just projects from you. Use the tools you have. There's no need to invest anything more. And to go back to the tripod, this tripod is all I've invested in the last, as far as stability. This is the only thing. I think I got it for $16.99 on Amazon. You could go look at it right there. It's live stream and go Google live stream tripod and get yours. It folds up. It's somewhat compact, and if you're ever live streaming, you can hold it like this. But I've never used it like that. I've always used it as a tripod. Very simply, your phone slides in like that, and it holds it perfectly for your broadcasting needs. So I hope this section helps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next section.